Alrighty, so I wanted to make a video about one of my favorite everyday carry items. I am mildly obsessed with these, and that is flashlights. Of all the things that I carry other than my wallet and keys, this is the item that is the most useful for me, the most commonly used. You drop something under a desk or in a car floorboard, rolls under a car, flashlight, perfect. So many uses. Where I work, I've been at places where the lights have gone out and boom, flashlight. Very, very, very handy. I think if you're going to add one thing beyond just wallet and keys for a regular everyday carry, it's going to be a flashlight. So we're going to go in a list of kind of the worst possible flashlight to what I think are some of the best. And you may not be surprised with some of my choices, and you might be really surprised with some of my choices. One of my standards that I go with, this is not a flashlight, but this is your average Sharpie dry erase kind of marker. I don't want anything much bigger than this because I'm going to be carrying it in my pocket, usually either my left or right front pocket. So this is kind of the size standard that we're going to go with. If it's much bigger than this, it's probably not great. If it's smaller than that, great, but if it gets too small, it might not either be bright enough or it might just be uncomfortable to carry, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So starting off, we go with this little dollar store light. This looks like it would be a perfect flashlight, right? It is about the same diameter, a little bit thicker. It is short. It has this little extending ability. That's kind of cool, but I would highly recommend not to use one of these because their reliability is frankly crap. It can turn on, you can do stuff, but sometimes I'll click it, it doesn't turn on very well. If you bump these, it'll stop working. They're okay to have around the house, and I actually have a lot of these around the house. As you know, lights go out, I can use this flashlight until I can get something better, but it's definitely on the worst of the list. Following that, and this is kind of odd because I do have the AAA single version of this on my key ring, and this is just a basic keyring light. This isn't bad. Like I say, I carry the AAA version on my key ring. Right here, getting nice and beat up from regular everyday use. This is an okay flashlight if you need to find something and it works, but it's not very bright. You're not going to see something very far away. It's good for finding a door handle in a dark place where to put your key. It's good for maybe finding something under the desk. If the room otherwise has light, it's just not that great. It's okay. It's just not as great as I would want to be like an everyday carry in a pocket. It is very small, I will give it that. And this version here does have the USB-C charging port. I actually had some back when they were the USB micro or minis. They were the micros at this point. But I usually have this pretty much close by the door in a bowl with some other flashlights. It does have two brightness modes, low and high, and that's not bad. It's nice that it's rechargeable, but because it's rechargeable, I don't carry it on my key ring. I prefer the AAA because if I do need to recharge it, have it working again, it's very quick and easy to have a AAA battery. Find one. They're very ubiquitous. Speaking of AAAs, we can go into a little bit better. Now we're talking. This is a perfect pocket carry size. It is slightly thinner than a marker. It's definitely much shorter. I have carried this as a carry a lot of times, the i3T EOS. It's a very popular Olight again, and I know people will say stuff about Olight. I would not necessarily trust my life to it. I do not have an Olight on my firearms, but for an everyday carry light in normal circumstances, I've never had a problem with any of my Olight flashlights. It has the low, has the high. Very good textured button. I like that they come in different colors. I like the patterns. That's why I have an absurd number of them. This is an okay. It's certainly way better than this. It's brighter, it's better, it's just worlds better. So this would be, I think, the starting standard. Now, if you want it a little bit better, this could be better or worse. This is one of their, I think they're called the i5Ts. Yeah, i5Ts. This is in a polished brass. It will develop patina over time. And this is a AA instead of a AAA. So it's going to have a lot brighter on the bright and dim. This is a good brightness for an everyday carry. This is where we're talking about for decent, good start. Has a solid deep carry pocket clip, that nice textured thing. Problem with this one especially is that it is heavy. I keep this actually on one of my larger first aid kits that I carry in my car, and it's just hangs out there most of the time, and I'll check it every few months to make sure the battery's fine, but this is not my everyday carry because it is heavy. Now, the ones that are made out of aluminum are significantly lighter, and they even make some out of titanium if you're willing to spend some money. I used to have a gray titanium one of these. I absolutely love it, and I have no idea what happened to it. But after I lost that one, I started carrying slightly bigger ones. This is an excellent choice. Don't think they make this one anymore. They kind of went with their Raider series. But this was one of their earlier ones. Let's see, what is this one called? No, this is the Raider. They've gone to something else. But this was their M1T Raider Plus. It's about 800 lumens at its maximum. It uses the CR123 batteries, so it's a little bit better. Sorry for my stand shaking. My dog is trying to get my attention. It's the same idea as the other two, just a little bit bigger. What's nice about it is that it does have a strobe feature, but it's kind of difficult because you have to time that triple press really quickly. I often will carry this one in my car in a visor or something as a backup. Might stage it in my house in different places. If I need a flashlight in the bedroom or wherever. This is a really nice bright one. We're getting to that nice brightness that I think if you're going to have a flashlight and you're not going to be using your phone and you want something brighter than just a little AAA light, like what it would even fit on your keychain, these are going to be, 100, 150 lumens max. We're going to be wanting something, I like 500 lumens is where I like to hang out. So this right here was one of my Warrior, that's the series, was one of my carries for quite a while. I still carry it a lot. I broke the original pocket clip from carrying it so much, and the replacement that they sold is a little bit too long for the Nano. And that is annoying. It snags fairly easily because of the extra length. So I'm not super on that. I like how compact it is. You can hold it and hide it in your hand. It's very short, but that is actually kind of a problem when carrying it in your pocket because the lack of a longer handle actually defeats the keel principle that helps it stay upright and up against your body. What is nice is that it has a side button, which is really easy. You have all sorts of adjustments on it, and then it has a programmable rear button that is also the charger. So a half press will turn it on bright, and a full down press will make it have that beautiful strobe that just flashed on the screen there. This is a solid everyday carry. It does need recharge, but it tends to have a really good battery life. I am not huge on the magnetic rechargeable flashlights because when it does go down, you can't use it until it charges, and that's going to take a couple hours. So good, not great. I would say it's about equal to this. It's definitely brighter. This is over 1,000 lumens. This is really pushing it at the highest, but this is going to be more consistent. This is a little bit smaller, about the same diameter. I was carrying this one most recently, but I would say they're about the same. Another one, I carry this very briefly because right after they issued this, they had the Nano. This is the Mini 3. I also somewhere have, I think it's the Mini 2. I really like the Warrior series for that very strong texturing on the grip and the fact that it has the side button as well as the programmable back button. The little bezels on the front, kind of tactical. I don't really care one way or the other. I suppose it's nice. I've never had to hit a window or anybody or anything with it, so it's just kind of there. I know on this one, I like that I can set it to deep carry with the lens up, because a lot of these lights will trigger fairly easily, and you'll know this is going off in your pocket instead of burning a hole in your pocket like this one might have done at one point. This one you can also tip up carry. It's a very good size for holding. My only complaint about this, the only thing that's not great about this, is that, once again, that it's rechargeable magnetic, which means you can't just pop some new batteries in it. It's insanely bright. It's good for that. And while this is a really good grip, it's not going to slip out of your hands if you're wet, if you got covered in grease or whatever. But it's very uncomfortable in a thin slacks pocket, and I wear slacks, khakis and such almost as much, if not more, than I wear jeans, just because of the work that I do. So now we're going to get into some other options. This is another one that I have as a dedicated first aid kit. This is actually a stream light because I keep it on my blowout kit. On my just regular Oops Boo Boo kit, O-light, absolutely fine. The kit that I keep my tourniquets in, chest seals, all that stuff, I keep it staged in my car so I can rip it open and use it. Actually, I helped a crash victim about a year or two ago, and it was really handy to just jump out of my car, reach, grab the blowout kit, run over and see if they needed a tourniquet or gauze or anything. Luckily, the guy wasn't banged up too much, and we just, some alcohol pads and Band-Aids was all he needed. But it was good to have everything just in case. It could have been a lot worse. But this is the light I carry with that. It is a stream light. It is a stylus. It is beautiful. I love the bright blue. It does come in other colors. I think it comes in black, which if I was carrying this in my pocket, I would definitely want. I chose the bright blue because it goes with a first aid kit, and I want it to be easily seen. It's not super bright. It's only about 100 lumens or so. It's not as bright as the others. It doesn't really have a low or high. It's just on, but it does take 2 AA's. Very long battery life. It is a stream light, so it's built like a tank. It's a good light. I would carry this in black as a pocket one and not really be worried with it because, once again, it's about this right length, very slim. But I do have a thing for really wanting a bright light. There's a lot of times when I'm out places where I might want to see something very far away. I also like the idea of having a tactical light as a possible keep away thing. I've used one of these to scare off dogs that were charging at me just by doing the full press that strobe can send animals or people in the opposite direction, which is really good. I also have another stream light that's a bit bigger and chunkier, about this size, but once again, it's a stream light, and I've used that as a security guard. And this, as you might have seen in my last video, if you haven't, go back and watch it, is a stream light. This is my new pocket carry. It is, once again, the ProTac 2 AA-X. It has the bezel, but it's not nearly as aggressive as on the O-lights, which actually to me is a good thing because that means it's not going to poke me. The texture is a very thin, light texture, but it's still incredibly grippy. So I'm not worried about this slipping out of my hands. And once again, it's way more comfortable in the pocket. And it doesn't have a side button. That's fine. Actually, less chance of accidental press. And because the carry clip leaves the entire end cap sticking out, I really don't have to worry about this going off. This will be around 300 lumens or so with the 2 AA's, which is what I use. It does have a low. Let's see if I can get it. There's our low. It has our high, which is the default, and of course the double taps use that nice little flash of a strobe. This one is very comfortable in the pocket. Once again, we are right at that size of a marker. It's a little bit longer even, but because it is so slim, somewhere in between the size of these two, it carries really, really comfortably. And while most of the time I like my flashlights to have that deeper carry, having this much stick out of the pocket is not that noticeable, and it makes it very easy to grip. The long length makes it stay well in the pocket, whereas this one liked to kind of swim around when it was clipped, and sometimes it would go sideways or whatever, kind of didn't want to stay put. So this was great. I carried it for probably about 3 years. Now I'm carrying this one, and I'm probably not going back anytime soon. If you are just getting into everyday carry, depending on the line of work that you do, I would recommend one of probably these three: a single AAA battery flashlight, a double AAA or AA flashlight. I think this one might be 2 AAAs actually. Haven't opened this one in forever, so I'm kind of curious. That feels like it's going to be AAAs. Yeah, that's 2 AAAs. So it gives you that really slim ability. I love Streamlight. They really well on there, and it even has that O-ring. This is not going to take water damage if you're using it out in the rain. I wouldn't swim with any of these, but yeah. So something like this is great if you need to find stuff under your desk, floorboards and stuff. If you want to have something a bit more powerful, I think right now the Streamlight is really where to go with it. You can push over 500 lumens with it. If you're using their rechargeable lithium ion batteries, I might get some. But what I love about it is that it's a dual fuel, which means you can use their rechargeable batteries, or you can use 2 AA's, and you can find AA's absolutely everywhere. This is a fantastic light. As you can see, I am a little bit tistic when it comes to flashlights. I absolutely love them. This is about half my collection, but I wanted to show my thought process on picking a good everyday carry flashlight.